Okay, so what we're going to do is I've given you a paper with 6 different examples on it. We're going to go through that together and talk about how to draw these free body diagrams that I keep talking about. Okay, just a refresher, a free body diagram tells you everything that's going on in the situation. Okay, so number 1, it says a Microraptor glides down to the forest floor and there is air resistance. Okay, so what force is a part of every single free body diagram? What's always around? Gravity. Okay, so every free body diagram that you draw, you're going to include gravity unless the situation specifically says ignore gravity. Okay, so on all of these that we're doing today, you will have a gravitational force on all of your free body diagrams. Okay, so we have a Microraptor going down to the forest floor, and there is air resistance. Okay, so here is my Microraptor. Whenever we draw free body diagrams, we just use a dot. Okay, and it is going down. Oh, I didn't think you had a pencil. Sorry, I threw a pen at you. What force is letting it glide down to the forest floor?
Can I use that head?
That would be gravity. So we're going to do a down arrow, and we have to label it F sub G. Okay, so gravitational force is allowing that Microraptor to glide down to the forest floor. And then it says there is air resistance. So which way is the air going to push on that Microraptor as it falls down? It's going to push up. Now, when we draw this arrow for air resistance, we're going to draw it to where it's shorter than our gravitational force. And I'll tell you why in just a second. So I'm going to label it F sub air, because that tells us we have the force of air resistance also acting. Why would I draw the gravitational force down arrow longer than the up arrow?
Because it's heavier
Because
than the force
it's
below
stronger
it.
force.
Yes. Okay, what y'all both said was right. Okay? So this arrow we draw longer because that's the direction that dinosaur is going. If the dinosaur was moving up, our up arrow would be the biggest. If the dinosaur was moving to the right, our right arrow would be the biggest. Okay? So this one's going down because our dinosaur is going down. So our biggest arrow is pointing down. All right, let's look at number 2. A pteranodon rapidly accelerates upward. There is air resistance. What's up? So what's an arrow that y'all would start with? Up. I would probably start with up as well. Okay. Actually, I'm going to draw that one a little bit longer. Okay. That tells us that our dinosaur is moving up. So our up arrow needs to be our biggest arrow. Okay. Does anybody know what type of force that dinosaur is using to accelerate up?
Air.
A mental force.
Is the dinosaur the one doing the work to get up there?
Yes.
That's applied force. Okay, that dinosaur is applying force to go upwards. So we just do F sub A. Okay, that's an applied force. Okay, what else do we have? What other kind of arrows? Air resistance. Which direction is air resistance going to point? Down. Not as long as the up arrow. So we have F sub air. What other kind of force? Gravity, which would be pointing which direction? Down. So I'm just going to make a little loop here. F sub G. Okay, they're both pointing down. Looks a little funky, but it gets the job done. Okay, so that's our free body diagram for number 2. All right, number 3 is going to get a little bit tricky, but we're going to talk through it and see how to go about it. All right, so basically we have a Smilodon standing on the side of a hill, motionless. I'm going to draw, you have it on your paper, I'm going to draw it up here so I can talk about it. So here's my hill. That's a Smilodon, apparently. Today it is.
Yeah.
Okay? The key word here is that this Smilodon is motionless. Okay, so our arrows need to all cancel each other out. It's with my left, you know, it's
Wait, you mind if I give me a pencil too?
Alright, what kind of arrow would you start with?
An upwards arrow.
Gravity works, yep.
Would it be like sideways? Would it be like motionless? Or would it be like
Kind of. You're getting there. Okay? So gravity always goes down.
Yeah, down.
Right? Okay, so here's my Smilodon. And I have F sub G. Okay? We got gravity down. We know that gravity points down.
It's motionless.
Okay, so we can't just leave it at that because this implies that it's moving downward, right? So what is stopping this Smilodon from falling down? What is his feet doing with the hill?
Grip.
It's stuck.
Grip. What kind of force has a bunch of grip?
Friction.
Friction, okay? So this Smilodon, if there was no friction, he would move that direction, right? So which way would the friction arrow be?
Sideways to the left.
This way.
Never mind.
And it has to be parallel to the hill that we're talking about. Okay? So we are going to have a friction force going that direction. And I tried to make it the same size as my gravity force because it's motionless. Okay, this one, we need another arrow, okay, because they're not really canceling out. If this one was pointing straight up, that would be canceled out, okay? So what other type of force, or what do you think? Normal. The hill pushing up on the Smilodon. So I'm going to have an arrow going that same direction, F sub n, for my normal force.
Is that FE or FF?
FF.
Okay.
I mean, F.
FF. FN, FG. So that is our Smilodon resting on a hill. Okay? It's all balanced out now. Okay? The inclines are the hardest ones. There's not very many of those that you're going to have to actually worry about, but I did want to show you an example in case you do come across one. Sound good? All right, we got 3 left. No more inclines.
May I use the restroom now? No.
No, not yet. I'm almost done. Number 4.
Why can you tell me if you know?
An Archaeopteryx egg, whatever, fell out of the tree and is accelerating downward. There is air resistance. Okay, so here is my egg. What kind of arrows are we drawing?
Down.
And down.
Up and down.
Okay, which one's going to be the longest?
The down.
The downward arrow, yes. The gravitational force. What type of force is the up arrow?
Air.
Air resistance, yes. Good. I'm glad it's easy. All right, number 5. A velociraptor accelerates to the right to catch prey. There is air resistance. So here's my velociraptor. What direction of an arrow would you start with?
To the right.
To the right. And since he's going to the right, that needs to be my longest arrow. Okay? So to the right. What type of force is that?
Applied.
Applied.
Applied, because that's what the velociraptor is doing. Okay? So this would be F sub A. It says that there is air resistance. So which direction would that go?
Left.
What is this about?
It's from the office.
Heck yeah. Okay.
If you won't buy me lunch, you should like share that.
No, I'm good.
Sharing's fair.
You should give him
Okay, so we have a left arrow for air resistance. What force is always present?
gravity.
Gravity going which direction?
Down.
Down. Okay, can anybody talk to me about what's wrong with this picture?
There's
There's no up. So right now, if we look at this, our velociraptor would be moving to the right and down, but he's not, right? So what force cancels out gravity?
The upward air.
Starts with an N.
Normal.
Yeah, normal force.
Wait, does that go up or does that go
Yep, it goes up. It opposes gravity, usually.
usually?
Okay, so that is our free body diagram of our velociraptor. Last one. Alright. A mastodon lifts a massive tree branch with its tusk and moves at a constant velocity. Okay, we're going to draw a free body diagram of the mastodon, not the tree that it lifted. Okay, so the mastodon is standing there lifting a tree. Got it? So here's my mastodon. What's the first one you think of? Absolutely, gravity.
Pushing down.
What keeps that mastodon from falling through the ground?
Normal force going up.
Normal force of the ground pushing up on it. And it's going to be the same length. And that's it.
Wait, what about us moving the tree?
We don't care about the tree.
She's not doing the tree, she's only
But
doing
it says it moves with
the
a constant velocity.
Now, man.
So it's just sitting still.
Yes, Max. Okay, listen.
Bothering.
You're going to do this assignment, and it's drawing more free body diagrams. You got to do 4 of them on your own. Okay? The only thing that you got to do extra, so you draw your free body diagram in the middle, and then over here you have to circle, is that object speeding up, slowing down, constant speed, or not moving? Okay, you have to circle which one of those that object is doing in that situation. Sound good? I'm going to give you some hints on this assignment. So the first one talking about a book, you're going to need 2 forces. So 2 arrows. Your second one is talking about a piñata. You will also need 2 forces for that one. There's one talking about a block. You need 4 forces, or 4 arrows. And then the last one is talking about a skydiver. You will need 2 forces on that one. Now let me pass them out. Do you have any questions on what you're supposed to do?
Can you give me a 300?
Turn this into the tray when you're done.